So I always keep this fake Hollywood money in my car. So when a homeless person asks for money, then I give them like a fake $5 bill. So I feel good about myself. They feel good. And then when they go to use it, they get arrested. So I'm actually like helping clean up the community, you know, getting them off the street.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. In this episode, I'm going to talk about something that Jeffrey Sachs talked about, Professor Jeffrey Sachs, on the Tucker Carlson show. He mentioned that as an economist, he can see that there are two separate societies living in America. There's the upper medium class to high class, and there's the low class and two societies don't even know about each other. So if you ask me how's life in America, I would be in middle class. So I'd tell you life in America is good. You know, like, yeah, sure, inflation is hurting some bit, but if you know, you do the hard work and you don't just buy anything you see, then you can live fine. That's not the case for so many Americans. The poverty line has gone really high, and it's just unsustainable to live for a lot of America. I don't know, like for almost 40% of Americans, if they have an emergency $400 medical expense, they won't be able to pay their rent. That's how bad it is. And so there's a really big issue of how do we solve this gap? And after much thinking, I realized basically it's up to Americans to do what Muslims are commanded to do, which is zakah. Zakah means charity, but it's mandatory charity. In Islam, everybody who has enough money, I think the money threshold is like, I think maybe like $2,000 to $3,000. I have to check that though. And don't take my word for it. And my parents deal with mine. They do it for me. And do all the calculations. So I'm not that well versed in it. But essentially, you have to calculate the lowest point of your wealth in a given year, and you have to calculate 2.5% of it, and you have to give that away. So that means, let's pretend there was no threshold, like you have to be this rich to be mandatorily to be obliged to give charity. Let's say there was no threshold. So let's say somebody has $1,000, but they calculated over the year and figured that there was a time that their wealth went all the way to $100. So all they'll do then is calculate, okay, 2.5% of $100, that's $2.50, and they have to give $2.50. And what this system does, it resolves the gap, and it was a system created by God, so it's flawless. And what it does is that huge gap between the wealth and the poor, it resolves it. It essentially makes it so that the poor have enough money to want to actually have a decent life. It's like you can have a homeless person on the street who just doesn't know how life is with money. Okay? And this person's just in depression staying in his state. But if you have for example, low middle class person, they'll have aspirations to go higher, and then when they go higher, then they're gonna end up having to pay obligatory charity to other homeless guys, and you see how this keeps pulling in the economic gap. And a very important thing about this is, yes, the architectures of our economy may be aware of this dual society we have, of the two societies living in America who don't know about each other. Okay? There are people who, like, in war-torn countries, the way they lie down dustily on streets, there are streets in America that are just neglected. And people do that. that it's no different. It's just that we have a government that's rich here, so people don't think about it because they don't contemplate how a government could have money and could not spend it on the people, and instead they're spending it on bombs to kill Gazan kids. So the way you resolve this gap is, number one, you have charity of the people who can afford it. I mean, it was so generous of God to make it obligatory for us Muslims, so that it's not like we have to tear a piece of our heart to give it. No, it's just you gotta do what you gotta do. And the next thing I'd say is people need to get out more often. Like, when's the last time people, y'all, actually went out to a homeless guy with breakfast or girl and gave it to them? Like, when's the last time that happened? We need to start tapping into that world. So this is a call on all people who are middle class to high class. Get out of your comfort zone and go see what people are suffering within your own country. Go see that. Like, it was so sad. Let me pull up a video for y'all to see what's going on in America. I mean, this is breathtaking. And it's like, yeah, so we need to get out of our comfort zone. It's very sad to look at homeless people, okay? Because you feel sad inside. You feel sad that, wow, I can give this person one meal, but that's not going to keep them on for more than 1/3 of a day. After I leave, their life is going to go back to dull, gray, boring, sad. And my solution for that is one that perhaps not many people can do. I actually thought about it, and the only way to mass implement this plan that I have would be if I was governor. So I don't even think it's worth mentioning to mention my plan of mass taking out people from homelessness and putting them, basically increasing their class slowly by slowly. Um, yeah, if y'all are interested in that plan, just comment below and I'll end up, posting a video about that. But for now, let me show you the video.